Hi everyone. Wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction into this creative process called sonification. Um, Simply put, okay, sonification is creating sound, okay, that is somehow connected to empirically, numerically to data. Sometimes there are processes of taking like a visual image and transferring the colors or the shapes or the shades of that visual image into sound, right? The part of this world that I'm interested in is actually the translation of numerical data into sound. So it's the sort of thing where this exists a lot in the electronic music world these days. Once you're in that kind of creative space with lots of computing power, okay, there's whole bunches there's an endless palette of connecting data to particular sounds. And but as a shorthand for all this, at least for the way that we're using sonification here in the Watershed Voices project, is that it's very much like what we all do in third grade math class when we're taught how to take a list of numbers and make a picture out of it. Okay, we translate a list of numbers into a graph, into a line graph or a bar graph. Why do we do that? Well, it's because looking at a list of numbers is one thing. Looking at a picture of that list of numbers is a new way for us to interact with the reality behind those numbers, the things that those numbers are trying to tell us. We can visualize it, okay? Our culture is a very visual culture. We actually have that term to visualize things, and we use that often. We use our eyes to analyze things all the time, okay? We use our eyes analytically. In the music world, though, in the sound world, comparatively few people out there use their ears analytically. Okay, we all use our ears passively. Okay, we're gathering information all the time that come into our ears that tells us who is speaking, tells us, geez, it's that beep on the crosswalk that tells me I should pay attention and cross the road. It's the music that we listen to. It's the baby crying in the back. It's the things moving around us. There's directionality to our passive hearing. But then to take it to the point of analytical hearing, okay, there's only a couple of professions that actually do that. Okay, musicians obviously are trained to listen analytically. Sonar directors, okay, in the Navy. Yep. Okay, they listen to things and analyze those sounds for very specific reasons. Ornithologists, okay, use their hearing analytically to know what birds are around them, even when they cannot see them. Okay, in the trees, you can still hear them. So it's an interesting thing for us to consider our ears as more of an analytical tool rather than just a passive tool of us interacting with our environment and our space around us. Here, it's just some very simple math that we use to take the list of numbers. Okay, so some of them that came from Lake Champlain scientists, and translate those numbers into musical notes. And just like the numbers are in a particular order, okay, in a scientific study, well, those notes are in a particular order, and that gives us a melody. Sometimes in scientific work, we get more than one data set working together, parallel data sets, okay? Musicians deal with parallel data sets all the time. Okay, when you have more than one singer singing at the same time, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, those are 4 different data sets that are simultaneous. And so you not only hear the melody that the soprano sings, but you also hear vertically the harmonies created by all the voices together while that melody is going on. So it's a really interesting and exciting creative process for composers, for musicians, and I think that one of the reasons why I'm attracted to it as a creative process is that yeah, I mean, we all know either pop music songs or classical music or other genres that give us a picture of nature. Okay, that tell a story of nature. In the classical music world, the piece called "The Moldau" by the Czech composer Smetana is this wonderful picture. The classical music folks call it a tone poem, okay, of the river the Moldau, okay, that passes through the Czech Republic, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, it's a absolutely gorgeous piece of music and very descriptive in its own way. But of course, what did Smetana do? He responded very personally, okay, to his perceptions of that river, and then chose musical notes that told that sort of individual perception. Okay. Here in the sonification world, what's really fun is that we as composers still do a lot of individual interpretation, a lot of unique ways that only we as individuals would do this. But we start with an empirical connection to our subject because the melody comes from the subject of our music. Okay, so and so it is as if the Lake Champlain watershed is speaking to us and giving us a little morsel for us to begin our creative process with, and so we carry that with us in the creative process. And so I'm really excited to see how one of these sonified melodies here change and grow and evolve between the different composers that we're working with.